2 million years ago, Homo erectus, the upright man, descending from earlier Homo populations, spread from South Africa all the way to China in East Asia. Like their ancestors, they lived in groups and communicated through limited sounds and gestures. They hunted together, but also consumed plants, and generally avoided areas with large predators. They knapped Oldowan stone tools, simple pebbles with a few flakes chipped off with a hammerstone, and used them in butchering to cleave meat off carrion or to break bones to extract the marrow. But unlike their ancestors, Homo erectus was the first human species to have a flat face, projecting nose, and sparse body hair coverage. They became much taller and varied widely in size, ranging from 146 to 185 centimeters, 4.7 to 6.1 feet, in height, and their longer legs were more energy efficient in long-distance movement. And their diet was even more diverse, including also medium to large-sized game, namely elephants, rhinos, hippos, bovine, boar and ungulates, and also aquatic creatures such as turtles, crocodiles, and catfish. But the large animals were mostly scavenged. 150,000 years later, Homo erectus were the first to make Acheulean stone tools, like handaxes with sharper edges, including bifacial tools, such as picks, knives, and cleavers. They were used in a variety of activities such as cutting meat, wood, or edible plants. After around 50,000 years, these hunter-gatherers reached Sétif in North Africa. Within 70,000 years, homininans settled in Legong, Malaysia. Some 30,000 years later, they arrived at Dmanisi, in Georgia, over the Levantine corridor. Soon, Homo erectus started to scavenge and butcher mammoths. After 30,000 years, they cared for weakened group members, who were helped by the others. Around 70,000 years later, when they had the chance, homininans started to use fire from wildfires for cooking. Occasionally, they even transported it to caves and maintained it for increasingly longer periods of time. Within 100,000 years, they inhabited Sangaran in Java. Another 30,000 years later, Lasignan-la-Sibi in Western Europe was first populated. The flake tradition spread across southern Europe through the Balkans. After 70,000 years, Homo erectus settled at Tirempakam in southern India. Some 100,000 years later, homininans arrived at the Kazarnica cave in Bulgaria. Within 40,000 years, hunter-gatherers reached Shaochonglang in the Nihewan Basin. After another 160,000 years, the first homininans populated the Iberian Peninsula, from Atapuerca in the north to Barranco Leon in the south. "200,000 years later, Bali was inhabited. Within another 150,000 years, Homo erectus arrived at Monte Poggiolo in the Italian peninsula. Within 50,000 years, they arrived on the islands of Flores, Timor, and Roti on large natural rafts of floating vegetation, like trees uprooted by natural disasters. Soon, hunter-gatherers inhabited Happisburg in Norfolk. In the meantime, Homo erectus settled in the Bose Basin. Also, homininans in the Kashafrid Basin made core chopper, simple flakes, and tools such as scrapers, notches, and borers. "25,000 years later, the Soanian culture, from the Sawalik Hills, manufactured tools on quartzite pebbles, cobbles, and occasionally on boulders. After around 25,000 years, hunter-gatherers lived in the Myanmar region. Within 40,000 years, they made a sea crossing of several miles and reached the Luzon Island in the Philippines. Some 10,000 years later, the Homo erectus that dispersed across Europe and stayed in Africa evolved into Homo heidelbergensis. After 100,000 years, although caves were used sporadically, they are now used globally for habitation. Around 100,000 years later, Homo erectus inhabited the caves in Lang Son and Nagi and provinces in Vietnam. Not long after, homininans reached the Korean peninsula. Within 90,000 years, hunter-gatherers lived in the Longtan Cave on the side of Wanxiashan Mountain, in Hexian. 110,000 years later, due to advancements in fire management, use of fire at campsites became significantly more abundant. Campfires provided heat for cooking, light and warmth. Homininans have learned how to control fire. One 100,000 years later, archaic humans passed through Tibet, leaving impressions of hands and feet. Some 9,000 years later, the ice sheets expanded during the penultimate glacial period. Within 1,000 years, due to fewer food resources on the island of Flores, Homo erectus descendants, Homo floresiensis, shrank to just 110 centimeters, 3.5 feet, tall. Around 60,000 years later, the high-altitude areas from the Baishia Karst Cave to the Annamite Mountains have been occupied by Denisovans. After around 13,000 years, some of the last Homo erectus populations still live in Nandang, Java. After 50,000 years, like other endemic fauna on Luzon, Homo luzonensis shrunk in size to around 145 centimeters, 4.8 feet, due to insular dwarfism. Within another 12,000 years, Homo sapiens spread along the coastal route to the Indian subcontinent. Some 16,000 years later, Homo sapiens spread to the Malay archipelago and to the Korean peninsula, replacing any surviving archaic humans. All Homo erectus are by now extinct. Thank you for traveling back in time with us on this historical journey. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Leave a comment and select all notifications for more videos like this one. Until next time, keep exploring the past to understand the present, and even foresee the future.